That is catchy as hell. That is Bigger Bus. We need a Bigger Bus, Eli Lev, who we're going to be speaking with in just a moment. What's that?
I need a giant canvas.
That's
No,
yeah.
seriously, I want to go paint to that. That's so much fun. I love that.
Great song. This is Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious Manchester, New Hampshire. Of course, you can stream the show at mattconnerton.com/live. Today is Saturday, September 14, 2024. And let me get that mic up there. We have Eli Lev with us live in studio. Hello.
Yo.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, I love that song. This just came out relatively recently, right? Present Journey, the EP?
Yeah, just a couple months ago. We are on the Present Journey right now. It's happening.
Yeah, you're on a big tour, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How many dates?
Well, really, this whole year has been a big, long tour. But this particular one is a fall tour going up to Canada and back. It's about 6 weeks.
Okay, excellent. Now, where do you go from here?
Yeah, from here I'm going to Lawrence, Massachusetts, then up to Maine, and then up to Quebec, then back down, be in New Hampshire again, coming back down, Vermont, and I got to play in Rhode Island. I've never been to Rhode Island. That was the last state that I had never played in, so that was pretty cool.
Well, it's so tiny, it's easy to miss.
It's so tiny. Yeah.
The last state you hadn't played in?
Yeah, I've played in all U.S. states except Rhode Island.
That's incredible.
Stop it.
Yeah, that was the last one. So it was great.
Usually you think the last one's going to be like Hawaii or like
right,
Alaska.
Yeah.
No, really? Rhode Island? That's crazy.
Pretty wild.
Good on you to be able to do that.
Yeah, we live in a beautiful country. It's absolutely incredible being able to really get the sense of like the consciousness of folks, north, south, east, west, and been able to play tunes and share moments with them. It's been cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. You've been at this a while, I assume, right?
No, actually, I'm a former middle school teacher.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I started picking up the guitar, doing this full time about 6 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching another interview that you had been on, a podcast you had been on, and my impression is that you're really a business-minded guy, and that it's important to you. And I bring this up because it's a subject that we talk about a lot on the show.
Oh, cool.
We interview obviously a lot of musicians and other people in the industry, and something that we talk about a lot is the importance of really being kind of business-minded about your career.
Yeah.
Obviously the creative part of it is the most important thing, and without that, there is nothing else to do really with it. But if you're not business-minded about it, you're going to have a short career. Or you could play music all your life, but if your goal is to get out on tour like you're doing, you've got to really kind of pay attention to the business side of it. And it seems like you've really got a handle on that.
You brought up spreadsheets when I came in. You're like, bro, I love your attention to spreadsheets. I'm like, yes, we're going to get along just fine. Yeah. So, my spreadsheet database is insane. Like, if you looked in there on my Google Drive, you'd be like, what is this guy, like an astronomer? He's taking all this like information from. Yeah. But I really enjoy it. I enjoy that part.
Was that your approach right from the beginning when you decided to take the plunge and do this and leave being a middle school teacher behind and everything?
No, but I realized very quickly that I needed it.
Yeah.
I would even argue that in today's musical landscape, probably that side of it is more important than the creativity aspect of it. Strangely enough. You know what I mean? Because there are so many talented folks out there, but how many of those talented folks are really going to like put in the time to like make a business out of it, make it organized, follow up, be professional with folks?
Right.
Not very many. So if any creative can do that, you've already got this gigantic leg up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that really helped kind of like jumpstart my career in the Maryland area. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you don't approach it that way, it's like, if the tree falls in the forest, if you don't do that part of it, then if nobody hears your music,
nobody hears it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's funny too, because there's always people who will tell you, well, I don't really care that much. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for other people.
That's great.
But it is. But I'm also always a little skeptical when I hear someone say that. It's like, really, you kind of do want people to hear what you're doing, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think music can be, a variety of things. Like for some folks, they just like writing songs. You know what I mean? It's like a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Some folks just want to share silly songs with friends and family. That's great.
Yeah.
And some folks like want to do the thing. You know what I mean? And if you want to do the thing, then it's all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go for it.
Yeah. What was there a particular moment where you made that decision to to do this full time instead of continuing with your career as an educator, or was it something that you were thinking about over time, or was there something that kind of pushed you to say, no, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, we're gonna get a little spiritual.
Okay,
cool.
That's
going
fine.
there. We're getting there.
We're good with everything.
We're going
here.
there. All right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
come with me, Matt, to a beach on the west coast of Mexico, north of a town called Sayulita.
Okay.
And it was my last semester of grad school for my master's in English, and I had a 2-week winter vacation. And I went on Google Maps and I picked a beach in Mexico. I'm like, I'm gonna go there for 2 weeks and just camp out, bring my guitar. So that's what I did, and I started playing songs, and the waves started listening. The trees were kind of like vibing with me. The sand was like kind of happy, and I kind of like just took a moment and I was like, "Hey, thanks for a great life. This has been amazing. Creator or whatever you want to call it. The rest is in your hands. I'm good.
Yeah.
So you let me know what's next, and I will let go and go all in on whatever that is." And, as things were kind of listening and getting vibey, they were like, you should try this music thing. Try to sing some songs, record them, and see what people think. And I recorded my first demo in Indiana 6 months after that, and I've been following the breadcrumbs ever since.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
So it was like a moment, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, like, is this going to happen? Yeah, let's be up for it. And then, music kind of just has shown the rest of the way.
Excellent. You ever have any doubts along the way? Like when you kind of took the plunge, did you ever have moments where you
100%.
Really? Yeah.
100%. It's like, when you get into it, it's like you got to be ready to play shows to nobody.
Uh-huh.
You got to be ready to think your hit song is going to be a hit, but nobody likes it. But the song that you didn't think that no one would like would be your hit song. Mm-hmm. You got to be ready to, just, bust your bottom and getting tickets sold to a show, and maybe the band that you wanted didn't come, or like maybe like it just didn't, every song didn't work out exactly as you want. So 100% along the way. And there's imposter syndrome as you're entering into a new identity, but that's with everything. So but the music's been carrying me, which has been great.
Outstanding. And you've recorded quite a bit, right, in that relatively short time.
Recorded almost 40 songs.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah,
release, that's a lot.
Yeah,
so
excellent. And that the one that we played, "We Need a Bigger Bus" from Present Journey. That's when did that come out? In June. That's relatively new, right?
Very new. Yep. Yeah. So my first project was 4 Directions, based on my time as a teacher on the Navajo Nation in northern Arizona.
No kidding.
Yep. And then this project is 3 worlds. So Present Journey will be 1, then Past Lives, and then Future Myths.
Oh,
so
cool.
I think in the thematic units.
Yeah.
From being a teacher, of course.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, I'm dying to hear you play. If you want to play something for us, and I'll kind of I'll have to ride the faders a little bit as we actually go ahead and strum a little if you would, Eli, and just make sure we got a. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Nice. Yeah. So, Matt, do you remember cassette tapes?
Oh, vividly.
Do you remember as well?
Oh, very much so. And how to use a pencil.
And how to use a pencil and how to rotate the sharpener.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So we're going back to the days of cassette tapes and pencil sharpeners.
Okay.
For this song, and do you remember like the first like mixtapes where you recorded the radio and recorded other tapes onto tape? You wrote the song names on the back. And you gave it to someone, a friend, and your relationship would last at least another week or 2.
Yep.
At least.
Yep.
And I remember my first mixtapes, and I bet if you go back, if you could find your first mixtapes and listen to them, it would probably take you back exactly to that emotional mindset that you were at that age, right? Music has that power kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to tell you my first mixtape and just a list of some of these bands so you remember them. So on my first mixtape it was Johnny Cash and Fleetwood Mac, but also Bruce Springsteen, U2, and MC Hammer.
Yep.
New Kids on the Block, Criss Cross, and Duran Duran was also on there.
Yes.
And who else? I think Flock of Seagulls was also on there as well.
Yep.
So just a wild range of songs. And I'll remember that tape forever because I put it in my tape recorder and I just listened to it over and over and over and over again, listening and catching the words to all the songs.
Yeah.
So this song is called Singing Along for the First Time.
Okay.
And it's about that first mixtape.
All right, wonderful.
Here we go. I was the age of 8 when I played the tape, and I heard a voice come through. He was singing loud and singing strong to the words I barely knew. I was hanging on to the edge of the song, waking up all my senses. I'm untied, I'm singing along for the first time. Oh, 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 for the first time. Oh, 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 I'm singing along for the first time. Woo! Ooh, yeah. Da 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 da. Well, I've been hearing songs since I came along on radio and TV, but this one song, when it came on, felt like it was just for me. Now I'm singing along for the first time. Oh, 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 for the first time. Oh, 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 yeah, and it was Springsteen in the street, Cash in the summer heat, Willie on the road, a Cobain in the cold, Stevie in my room, learning every line of that tune. And when the chorus came, it was my chance to get up and start to dance away. I'm singing along for the first time now. Woo! For the first time, yeah. It was Springsteen in the street, Cash in the summer heat, Willie on the road, Cobain in the cold, Stevie in my room, learning every line of that tune. And when the chorus came, it was my chance. I'm singing along for the first time. Whoa, oh, 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 for the first time. Oh, 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 I'm singing along for the first time.
Fantastic. Woo! Fantastic. That is Eli Lev is here with us live in studio. If you are just joining us and playing some live tunes for us, and do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
I do.
How old were you?
I was 13.
Yeah.
It's from a middle school talent show, and it was called My White Underwear.
No kidding.
And I performed it
Yeah.
in front of an entire auditorium that had my grandparents in it.
Yeah.
And it mostly consisted of me just screaming, "Into my white underwear," over and over again.
Yeah.
Huge hit.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get back to that moment ever since.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what started my career in music.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. How many songs have you written, do you think? I know you said you've recorded about 40, correct?
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, let's go back. How many songs do I think I've written? I think probably finished songs, probably about 200.
Okay.
I think maybe like half finished, probably like 300.
Yeah.
And I think like ideas, probably about 1,000.
No kidding. Yeah.
Just out there.
Yeah. You seem like someone who would be pretty prolific.
Yeah.
Were you, when you were still teaching, were you already writing a lot, or?
I was, songwriting has always been like that friend that's just right there. The guitar has just been like kind of like a someone to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Times are great, times not so great, and all in between. So, it's just, I think back, it's like, yeah, probably about like more than 1,000 times there's been like some voice memo that I've taken of, some idea or a title or like an emotion or anything. So quite the body of work, but not like, half finished work.
Right. And when you play, is it always just you and the guitar? Or do you ever have other musicians with you? Or?
Yeah, I did a full band.
Oh,
In
no kidding.
Maryland, it was Eli Lev and the Fortunes Found. That was the first iteration, and then it was the Eli Lev Collective, and it was the Eli Lev Band, and then it'll be something else, I'm sure. But I love performing with other musicians. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Just being on stage and kind of like creating that musical space with folks. But on tour, I just kind of do the solo thing. Keeps it a little easier.
Yeah, a lot easier, really, right? Because, it kind of opens up places you can play when you don't have a full band. And, of course, I've been in bands, and I know the pain of dealing with everyone's schedules and all of that.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but, like, being in band is, like, kind of being in, like, 5 relationships. And those 5 relationships also being in 5 different relationships at the same time. So, there's this wonderful family atmosphere, but there's everything that goes along with being in a family, you know?
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, that's absolutely. Absolutely.
So I love it though. I love performing with other musicians.
The songs that you had in these bands, I assume those have survived, and you still play those today, or some of them. Yeah,
absolutely. All the songs are pretty much the ones that I recorded. Just maybe I'll play them with a band or solo or duo.
Yeah.
What instrument did you play in the band?
Bass.
Yeah. Okay. See, bass is the smartest instrument ever. Everybody goes and learns guitar or wants to be the lead singer, but if you can play a bass, you'll get work the rest of your life.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? If you want it, like.
Yeah, when I was really active playing, I don't play currently, but I was kind of sought after in the scene. But it wasn't because I was a great bass. I mean, I'm very objective about assessing my own musical ability. I was average. I was an average bass player. But I was a bass player.
That is a hot commodity.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Well, I think drummers are the most in demand.
Sure.
Because we interview a lot of bands on the show, and the drummer is always in 10 different bands because there's no drummers around.
Right. Yeah. No, bass and drums.
Yeah.
Remember that, kiddos. If you want to make a career in music.
Do you play on what you've recorded? Do you play anything other than guitar? Do you stick to guitar and have other musicians? Or
I do, yeah. I play guitar, I play piano, I play native flute from Arizona.
No kidding.
I do harmonica, mandolin.
Yeah.
I make percussion noises, strange sounds with my mouth, like whistling and who knows what. But yeah, I love making sounds.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do everything on the albums, or?
I work with different producers on the albums. So I like collaborate with folks in the studio. They'll do some instruments. I'll do some instruments. We'll bring in some other, kind of hired guns to rock the rest. And so it's a nice kind of a mix.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. But it's nice when you have the ability to play multiple things. And I mean, that gives you a level of control that you wouldn't otherwise necessarily have.
Yeah, I mean, you're almost like a conductor, of an orchestra. You know what I mean? Like you get to really kind of imagine melody lines and different sounds and different instruments. So it's really awesome. I love the process of kind of putting sounds together for a song.
You enjoy being in the studio?
I do,
because I know a lot of musicians just want to play live and they hate the studio or they're ambivalent about it. But if you actually enjoy the process, that's good.
It's fascinating. No, I love it. Yeah, and like the different takes, you know what I mean? Like, which take are we going to go with?
Yeah,
it's a really wonderful process. I'm not personally a producer, but I love working with and collaborating.
Are you ever surprised? Because you're working with producers, are you ever surprised at what comes out? Like, do you ever have an idea for a song and you've written it and you know what you want, you know what it's supposed to sound like, and then it ends up coming out very different, and hopefully you're pleasantly surprised when that happens, but do you ever have that happen?
Yeah, that's why I like to work with different producers, because they bring different sounds and different ideas.
Yeah.
And, when I come up with a song, it's usually vocals and guitar or just vocals and piano.
Yeah.
So watching it develop and bloom and blossom, like, for example, like 2 days ago, you record a song and then you get back a mix, so it's like the first time you really hear what you recorded with all the instrumentation.
Yeah.
And, bro, I was listening to this first track of my upcoming album, Past Lives. It's called Echo. And it's about like hearing the echoes of our ancestors, like kind of coming in and, living with that knowledge. And I was like laughing and crying at the same time. Hearing a song come to life
Yeah.
like that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what I mean? So like having those visceral emotional reactions is really cool. And, you know, the only people who heard that was my producer and me.
Yeah.
So having that special moment of like really being there, like on this like creation is just awesome. So I love the studio. I love the process of creating songs too. It's really fun.
Yeah. And you've made some videos, right? I watched the Universal song video,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I love the song, and the video is great. And that's, you know, we were kind of talking earlier about, you know, the music side the business side of it. That's important, right? Making videos.
Yeah. So what I did in the pandemic when everything shut down and all my tours were canceled is I went online and started live streaming.
Yeah.
And that's where the Levitators community came. And people were just looking for things to do. So we did participatory music videos.
Okay.
So people would video themselves. For example, I had a song called Dancing on the Lawn. So they would go outside and take a video of themselves dancing on the lawn, essentially.
Yeah.
And the music video is levitators from around the world. We're talking Europe, Australia, Africa, Canada, South America, sending in videos of them dancing on the lawn, all spliced together.
Okay.
So I did a participatory video with Chasing Daylight, with another one, Anywhere We Can Go. And I think I should do one with We Need a Bigger Bus too.
You should.
You know what I mean? Get rent a school bus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And go around and pick folks up and just kind of like, you know, like film this party happening on a bus.
That's a great idea.
So and it's really important because especially today, and like we live in a visual kind of content world. So anytime that people can see your music,
Yes.
you know what I mean, is important.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's funny because there was a time when, well, you know, some people still think today, even I'll hear people say, oh, you know, I miss the days of music videos, you know, because they're thinking of it in the context of MTV.
Yeah.
And it's like, and some people just don't realize, you know, because they're maybe not paying attention, that there's actually more music videos than ever.
Yeah, there are. We just don't see them because they're not part of.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. They're not on. They're not on cable.
They're not on MTV anymore.
Right,
that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But something we also talk about a lot on the show is, you know, with the pandemic, terrible experience for us all, but we have to find the silver linings where we can. And you know, you're a great example of what you did. You know, trying to, you know, innovate and come up with ideas, you know, to keep people involved and keep people engaged. And,
Yep.
Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm dying to hear you play another one. You want to play another song?
Let's do it. Let's do that Universal song, the one you were talking about with the music video.
Wonderful. And if you are just joining us, Eli Lev is here with us live in studio. And I do love this song. So, yeah, whenever you're ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So imagine like Eurovision was not just for Europe, but it was like for the whole galaxy. Like there's like a Milky Way Eurovision. And then imagine there was like a universal song contest where the Milky Way would send in their entry and the Andromeda galaxy would send in theirs. And what that song would sound like. So this song kind of explores that possibility. I was on a train in the middle of the city. Saw a girl sitting on the floor with her headphones on. She was humming a tune, looking as happy as she could be. Nodding her head and closing her eyes and singing a song. She was singing, na 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 na. And the sun broke through the window, na 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 na. Now everyone's humming along. Na, 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 na. She got everybody singing that universal song. Ooh, yeah. Singing it all day long. I was on a cruise in the middle of the ocean. I was sitting alone at a table for two. The band was on a break, 'cause the singer, he was late. But the second he got on stage, he started singing that same old tune. He was singing, na, 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 na. And everyone got on the dance floor, na, 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 na. They were shaking their hips, na, 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 na. He got everybody singing that universal song. Ooh, yeah. All right, let's to bring the aliens or the fifth dimensional beings, whatever you prefer. Well, I heard on the news today that they made contact with outer space. A transmission was coming in loud and clear. And all the scientists and linguists and astrophysicists tried to decipher the sound that was coming into their ears. But all they heard was, nah, 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 nah. And they started shaking their shoulders too. Nah, 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 nah. They all agreed that that's what we should do. Nah, 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 nah. Now everybody in the world singing, nah, 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 nah. They got their hands up in the air, nah, 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 nah. Ooh, now everybody's getting along, 'cause everybody's singing that universal song. Ooh, yeah. It goes like this. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
I love it.
That's awesome.
The universal song. That is Eli Lev. He is here with us live in studio on this Saturday morning, and that is great. And I do encourage people to check out the video. The video is really cool, really cool. So how's the tour been going? Any interesting stories? Any big surprises, or is everything been smooth? Or I love road stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have any, wait, and if you don't have any, that's actually a good thing. That means everything's going well generally. But
got plenty of stories, man.
Do ya?
Yeah. So I play every night, pretty much.
Yeah.
And every night's different. Like sometimes it'll be like last night I was at the basement of a church playing the opening set of an open mic.
Yeah.
And the night before that I was at this like amazing fancy schmancy listening room winery thing where it was like professional sound, table service and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And the night before that I was playing at this vegan restaurant in Vermont, in Burlington.
Yeah.
And it was like a Thursday, and it was a nice night out. So you never know what's going to happen. You show up, it could be 10, 20, 50, who knows?
Yeah.
But that night, there was just a couple.
Oh, no kidding.
And they were out on a date. They came in, and they were like, table for two, please. And I could tell. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they were in for the experience.
Yeah.
And it was just me and this couple and this waitress. And I was like, well, y'all, it's just us. So let's have some fun with this,
Yeah.
So we were chatting, we were making up songs together, having a great old time. And then, they were a younger couple. And they're like, can you play a slow dance song? And I was like, yes, I can play a slow dance song for you. So I played Van Morrison's Crazy Love.
Yeah.
She give me love, love, love,
Yep.
love, crazy love. And they got up and danced. And they were not good dancers. And they knew it.
Yeah.
And they were just having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
It was just them in this empty restaurant
Yeah.
with me
Yeah.
and the waitress. And they danced the entire song.
Oh, wow.
Just missing steps and kind of fumbling and trying to do twisty things and like kind of knocking over little flower things, whatever.
Yeah.
But they just had a blast, and it was just a wonderful reminder that, it doesn't necessarily really matter what we look like or sound like or seem like on the outside. It's like how we feel the space, you know what I mean? That moment.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Like I was like really emotional afterwards. I was like, y'all, that is so sweet. Y'all the biggest sweeties. And me and the waitress gave them a big, round of applause.
Yeah.
And they had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And they got some merch. I had a great tip. I made more in merch and tip that night with 2 people than sometimes I will with like 30 or 40.
No kidding.
You know what I mean? So it just depends on getting into the experience, really holding it,
Yeah.
and being aware. So
Yeah.
that happened just a few nights ago. I will always remember that. And they made my night a VIP night too.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, that's a positive road story. That's
Absolutely.
good. I don't hear many of those.
Okay.
Usually it's like
broke down.
Yeah, the van broke down, or we got to the place and the toilet didn't work, and You know what I mean?
We lost our band member. We
Yeah.
drove away from the gas station, and we realized 2 hours later they were missing our drummer.
Oh yeah, you hear all kinds of terrible things. So it's good to hear a positive story like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. You want to play another one?
Yeah, happy to. Do one more tune. This is from Present Journey as well.
Okay.
I also played this song for the couple. This one's called Love in the Middle Ages.
Oh yes, this is. I listened. I like this one.
Did
a
you
lot.
like this one?
I like
Okay.
this one a lot.
I
Yeah,
like this one too.
This is really good.
Awesome. Here we go. When I was in my early age, I heard 'em talk about true love, so I started looking for where it could be. I ran from kisses in the 3rd grade, dated a girl in middle school for 10 days. I thought it would never come my way, but I found love in the Middle Ages. It ain't always fireworks, and it comes in stages, and it takes courage and trust in each other. I know I found it, what true love is. It's love in the Middle Ages. Love in the Middle Ages. I chased love across the oceans, but I never knew what it was like to stay. What it took to really listen now, and how to compromise, and how to sing the same way. Now I'm old enough to say I found love in the Middle Ages. It ain't always fireworks, and it comes in stages, and it takes courage and trust in each other. Yeah, I know I found it, what true love is. It's love in the Middle Ages. Yeah. Love in the Middle Ages. And it's a trip to Duncan in the morning. It's knowing exactly what she's gonna say. It's getting cozy on the couch after a long, hard day. It's growing old together, figuring it out along the way. 'Cause I found love in the Middle Ages. It's not just fate or even a promise. It's something deeper, something stronger. I put down my sword and took off my armor, 'cause I found love in the Middle Ages. It ain't always fireworks, and it comes in stages. It takes courage and trust in each other. I know I found it, what true love is. It's love in the Middle Ages. Yeah. Love in the Middle Ages. It's love in the Middle Ages. Love in the Middle Ages.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Some sauce on it.
Nice.
Eli Lev is with us here live in studio on this Saturday morning on Matt Connarton Unleashed, and playing some tunes live for us. And yeah, that's great. By the way, you in terms of your vocals, did you get formal vocal training, or are you self-taught? Or
I did not. Yeah,
Okay.
I found out at the beginning of my career that your vocal cords are like muscles.
Yeah.
And you can train them.
Yeah.
And you can get better. I did not have like a American Idol. I still don't have an American Idol voice, but it wasn't like people heard me sing and were like, "Whoa, bro, you should be famous." Never. You know what I mean? Never a thing. But after singing for almost every day for the last 6 or 7 years, really developing into it, getting into the character and kind of like feeling in, you know what I really also found is just being unique, you know, not necessarily sounding like someone else, but just like whatever the true voice is, kind of like letting that out. So really kind of leaning into that.
Yeah. Do you do things to take care of your voice? Like, you know, lemon and all that?
100%. Yeah. So my tours, Matt, like I know like there's this image of tours being like wild and crazy, and staying up and partying and stuff. But I'm an indie folk singer songwriter, so that's not usually the case. So you know, it's a lot of hydration. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm drinking smoothies. I'm sleeping as much as I can. I'm going to Planet Fitness in the morning. You know what I mean? I'm doing vocal warm ups. I'm doing vocal cool downs. I'm like, you know, like doing the throat coat tea and kind of like, you know, massaging, all that kind of stuff. Because it makes me feel better. It makes me have better performances, and it keeps my voice. It's like what I'm doing is kind of like an ultra marathon. 225 days on the road. You can't mess around. You know what I mean? So, and I've had times where I've lost my voice. It's been tough. So I don't want to do that again. So you're absolutely right on that. It's like, it's a very conscious effort to keep things going.
When you're singing every day like that. No doubt.
Yeah.
Is it literally do you ever have a day off on your tour?
Sometimes maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks. But usually it's pretty packed.
That's good.
It is good.
Yeah. That's really good.
By
the way, I'm also curious about your influences in terms of songwriting, because everything that you write, it's so catchy. It really is. Exactly. Like, who influences you as far as songwriting?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like was formed by, you know, Cat Stevens, Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell growing up, like when I was really young. You know, John Denver, all that kind of good stuff. But then, you know, it's funny, Matt, because like I grew up in the grunge era. Like Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana, Radiohead, you know what I mean? Red Hot Chili Peppers, like that was my music. And here I am playing acoustic guitar, right? Which is hilarious. But yeah, so that really influenced me too. In college, I got into underground hip hop. When I was living in Europe for a few years, I got into like dance beats, electronic music. When I came back, I got into modern day songwriters like, you know, Noah Kahn, you know, Boy Genius, you know, just kind of like these very straightforward kind of singing songwriters. Jason Mraz, you know, Jack Johnson, you know, Ed Sheeran, that stuff as well. But also, you know, I got a little countryside. You know, Jason Isbell, Tyler Childers. I like this singer-songwriter named Hardy. He's really cool. So all that kind of comes together.
Do you approach it like, it sounds like you probably don't necessarily try to have a particular sound, but what comes out is what comes out, I assume.
Yes, I know that's wrong. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but
I think it's great. I think that's the best way to do it. Don't overthink it. Just be. That's the best way to be authentic is to not overthink it, not to say I want to sound like this, but just sound like what you sound like.
And I'm not in the industry. I'm like industry adjacent. You know what I mean? It's like I'm in like the DIY independent scene. So I don't have a manager that says you need to sound like this. So it's fun because I can just sound like whatever I feel like that day. And I'm enjoying that. So I'm just going to keep rolling with it.
And is everything self-released, or are you on any kind of a label, or you just do it all yourself? Is that the best way to do it in your opinion? Like if you were to give advice to somebody who's aspiring to do what you do.
So record contracts actually have never been like the thing that guarantees success. They can be, you know, for the 1% of artists that, you know, record contract is a really good thing for. But for the other however many percent of it, you know what I mean? All sorts of things can happen. You can get shelved. The label can have another band that sounds just like you, and they signed you so that they could push the other band and not you. They could drop you after an album. They could keep you for 10 albums and never release you. So it just didn't sound like something that would fit my vibe. So I kind of went on my own route. Now, that's not saying that if the right record contract comes along, you know what I mean, that I would like reject it necessarily. But I've found that it's best to like do your own thing, make your own business, and then if that happens, great, but not to like bank on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're fortunate to live in an era where you really can do it all.
Yeah.
Because of the internet, you can. I'm old enough to remember when your only shot really was if you you record a demo and then you send it to record.
Well, that was
labels
it, because they had the equipment. There was no other way to record your music besides getting a record contract. So that would make sense, because at least you have your music recorded.
Yeah.
But now, it's very accessible,
Yep.
which has positives and negatives, because everybody can do it. So you have to kind of like be inventive a little bit.
Right.
It's like kind of about being creative, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think so. As we approach the top of the hour, I was thinking I'll play another studio track, the Honky Tonk Truth.
Yeah, I love that one. That's cool.
I think it would be a great way to way to end the segment. But but before we do that, I want to make sure that our listeners know where they should go online to keep up with everything that you're doing, and,
sure.
and of course plug your next show too. We're in Manchester, but we do have a lot of people who listen online, so we want to make sure everybody knows where to find you.
Yeah, awesome. So my name's Eli Lev. It's ELI space and then LEV as in victory. You can type that into the Google machine, and my website will pop up. On my website is all my music that's just freely available to stream with lyrics, and also my tour schedule.
Yeah.
So I'll be in New England and Canada and a bunch of shows all over the world. Actually, in February and March, I'll be in the UK and Europe.
Oh, no kidding. Good for you.
So, if folks are listening over there, I'll see you. I'll see you next year. And also on my website is a little button at the bottom that says Join the Levitators.
Yes.
So you are welcome to join. It's just like an email texting list. But I send out songs and good vibes and keep people going. And we do live streams together. I do Folk Fridays. So it's a great way to stay connected to a worldwide community of music lovers.
Excellent. That is outstanding. Have you played overseas? You mentioned you lived in Europe. Have you played over there before?
I've played shorter tours. I lived in a country called Andorra. Between Spain and France over there. So I've played shorter tours, like a week in France or a week in Spain.
Wow.
But this is the first like full on 2-month like show every day kind of tour. So
wow. Very cool. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
No, that's exciting. So we'll close out the segment with the Honky Tonk Truth, another great song, but I like all of these. They're all really good. But Eli Lev, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
today.
for having me on. Super fun.
This has been amazing, and we'll have to do it again in the future. Next time you're on tour through the area, we'll have you back. But and if you are listening live on Saturday, stick around. Coming up in the third hour, we have the Rightful Heirs joining us in studio. But here it is. This is the Honky Tonk Truth from Present Journey by Eli Lev.